Okay, welcome back. Hello, hola, bonjour, ni hao. What else do I know? Hey man. That's it. I'm trying to learn hello in every language. Well, a lot of different languages. But hello and welcome back to my workshop, my class, whatever you call it, my podcast. I'm so happy you've joined me. You decided to join me. I don't take that for granted because you could be doing something else. My name is Paulette Rolle-Alesnik. Yes, I am an educator, an artist, and a motivational speaker. I just love what I do. I love my life. But I want you now to meet my friend Olaf. This here is Fearless Olaf. You're gonna see Olaf in a lot of my videos. Like, if you haven't met him yet, you will from now on see him in a lot of my videos. So I believe in characters. I believe in even the imagination, the creativity. Yes, I did paint Olaf myself. So meet Fearless Olaf. He's going to be a part of our teaching today, okay? But thank you for joining me and coming back to my class. Remember, last session we talked about thinking through your fears, creatively thinking. What will I do when these things come up? Or critically thinking, Step one, step two, step three, you gotta have a plan. So you think through them. Today, what are we gonna do? We're gonna talk about taking actions in spite of your fear. All right? Taking action in spite of your fear. So you might call it courage. Some call it courage. Others bravery, daring, inner strength. I like to call it inner strength, fearlessness. Hey, like Olaf here. Fortitude, gallantry, grit, guts, whatever you call it, just whatever you call it. Remember, you can be that too. So you can be fearless. You can have courage. You already have inner strength. And I hope that my video helps you to tap into that inner strength so that it goes from your mind and it goes down to your heart, your the innermost being, and you begin to act on it. You begin to take action in spite of your fear. You're not the only one that's afraid. There are a lot of people in the world that are afraid of many, many things. Sometimes just one thing, and it stops them from life, or from a healthy life or better life. But we don't want that to happen to you. I don't want that to happen to you. And I'll share, hopefully, if I have time, I'll share some of my stories of things I did not do, procrastination, because of minor fears, and I'll share some other stories in this video. And hopefully at the end of this video, you're gonna learn how to take action in spite of. You're there like, I'm afraid. I don't know what to do. Yes, you're gonna be courageous anyways. You're gonna be brave anyways. Yes, you can. You are brave. You're gonna just muster up some inner strength to do whatever it is you need to do anyways, in spite of. Fearlessness. I love that word. Fearless. You're going to be a fearless shero. You're going to be a real life, pinch me ow it hurts hero. So we got our sheroes and we got our heroes on this line. Fortitude. You're going to be fortified. You're going to have grit, man. You're going to do what it takes to be successful and to have the best life. So whatever they call it, whatever you call it, I want you to be that. Okay? So the definition of let's talk about the definition of courage. So if I was to wrap all those words up that I just said, sorry about that, alarm going off. It reminds me to drink my water. So let me take a water break. So if you were to wrap all the definitions up, I would choose the word courage, to take action in spite of fear. Let's just use that one word, courage. Courage, the ability to do something that frightens you. Right? Strength in the face of pain and or grief. We've all been there. Raise your hand if you have. So I'm just continuing this session. I recorded. I know you're coming back a week later, but for me, I'm coming back like 5 minutes later. A drink from my refrigerator, and I continue the recording. Thank you so much. You are amazing. You are amazing. So remember, whether you took a step already from the assignment I gave you, kudos. If you haven't, it's not too late, right? Whether you take a step in the next minute, the next day, next week, you're still amazing. You are amazing. I want you to remember that. So how about you say that with me? Say, I am amazing. Because you are. Yes, you are. Kisses to you. And this is one thing that helps me with courage. When I get afraid, I always say, I can. I can. Because the Bible tells me I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. All is a very all-inclusive word, like sign language. All, it covers everything. It didn't say I can cook, I can be a good wife, I can drive, I can be educated. It just said I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So whatever we're talking about today, whatever comes up in your out of your gut, whether it's the nasty things or just a reminder of things you want to do, you want to take action on, remember you can. Say it with me. This girl can. This girl can. So I keep these little mini reminders around my office, on my social media pages, to remind me. Because sometimes, not that I'm fearful, but sometimes I procrastinate, and I have to remind myself, Paulette, you can do. This girl, and if you're a guy, can. Take that in. Why don't you say that with me? This girl can. This girl can. This girl can. Make it an affirmation for yourself. Make it a morning affirmation, afternoon, I don't care. Just make it an affirmation so that you're saying it daily. Okay? Taking actions in spite of fear. Fear is a reaction, right? I don't know if we talk enough about fear. We think it, we live it, but I don't know. Well, let me back up. We talk about fear, but I don't know if we talk enough about taking actions and conquering it. Fear is simply a reaction to something that happens. But guess what? Courage is a decision. Courage is the decision that you're going to make. So, in short, as we're talking about taking actions in spite of fear today, so fear is that, like, oh, I'm reacting to the snake. Oh, I'm reacting to the bad relationship. Oh, I'm reacting to the failure. Courage is, I will make a conscious, a wise decision in spite of. For example, let's think about when we were kids. I grew up around the ocean, Atlantic Ocean. I don't know, I'll probably say 20 feet, but that's not really true. But I grew up really close to the ocean. You can get there in a minute and a half, like on the Atlantic Ocean. So when you're a kid, I guess a lot of children would just run into the ocean. I'm talking the huge Atlantic Ocean, nothing stopping it. You know, when the storms and a hurricane come, it would just surge up and go back. And, you know, fish, all those sharks were in the ocean, things we don't want to see, stingrays would come up to the shore. But the little kids would just run into the ocean. Just fearless children. And I find that as we got older, we became more afraid of certain things, because why? We were taught. So the older people, granted, we have to teach our children wisdom, what to do and what not to do, but sometimes we forget to step back and tell them, okay, you're old enough to make this decision now, so do it. You're not going to drown anymore because you're going to swim. This cautiousness causes us to not act anymore. So let's not teach our children the act of fear. Let's teach them to act in spite of fear. Remember, let's not have them react to things, but rather make a conscious decision, even prior to, like thinking through. So we're going to be courageous. We're going to be brave today. We're going to muster up inner strength, right? Hone our inner strength and walk through it. And we're going to act in spite of fear. I want to show you, because you're awesome. You have awesomeness. So let's take a minute before I share something with you. Let's just inhale courage and exhale fear. So I want you to do that again a couple of times. I have this reminder coming up. I do apologize. And I drank water. I just want you to know. So just inhale courage and exhale the fear. Exhale. Inhale courage, bravery, fearlessness, and exhale fear. Fear has no place in your life. I've said in the last class that fear is false evidence appearing real. Now, I know I'm not right there with you in person, as we have been in the past, conference to conference, face to face, Because of the coronavirus, we've had to switch to a lot of, I guess, virtual classes. But I pray that my voice, I pray that my energy, I pray that my words will just pierce through this phone in this video and remind you that you're awesome. Remind you that you can inhale the courage, the bravery, the fearlessness, the grit, the daring, and you can exhale every fear. And you can do it now. You can do it now, right? I want to share a couple of stories with you. There's a story in the Bible. A lady, her name is Esther. I don't know if you've heard about her, but she's Queen Esther. I should have brought my tiara. Gosh, I forgot about that. So Queen Esther in the book of Esther. So I'm not going to share the entire story. When you have time, go to the Bible and read the book of Esther. And if you don't want to read the entire book, just read the first, I would say up to chapter 5, and you would get the gist of the story. But she was a Jew. And the king at that time was a non-Jew. I don't remember what he was, but he was a non-Jew, right? And Jewish people were not necessarily allowed in the palace. But her uncle, Haman, taught her, not Haman, bad man, Mordecai, told her to go to the castle and just see if you can become a queen, because the king was looking for a new queen, right? So the previous queen, Vashti, refused to parade herself around like a peacock when the king was having a party. She's like, no, I don't think so. You and your man, y'all drunk, y'all probably high, who knows what y'all smoking. I'm not coming for you to parade me around like a peacock. No, sir. Well, the king banished her. She's gone. Now, his advisor said, King, you need a new wife. You need a new queen. And the parade began. It's just sad to think of the whole idea, though, that he got all the beautiful young virgin in the city, probably the country, and they're just parading themselves before the king so that he can find the next queen. Esther was a Jew. Number one, she's not supposed to be there. Number two, if that knowledge got out, she would be killed instantly. But her uncle Mordecai said, go anyways. So Esther went, and after a year of prepping and grooming and doing all that they do to make them beautiful princesses and queens, she became the queen. But the king had not yet to know she was a Jew. Now Haman, bad man, he found out about the uncle, and the uncle refused to worship the king, right? And there was such hatred. This man Haman had hatred for the Jewish people. So he reported the uncle to the king. He's like, those Jewish people outside the gate, they disrespect you. They pray when they want to. They don't bow down when we come around. What should we do? They disrespect you. Let me just get rid of them. So the king signed a note with his ring, kill all the Jews. Guess what? Homegirl. And if you have a chance, I would love for you to watch my video on culture and mixing of culture and how it really can work. Homegirl is a Jew. What are you going to do? Kill your wife now? He didn't know. So the queen started grooming him and teasing him with parties and all the lady things that she could do so she can build up the courage to say, I am a Jew. She asked her friends and her family to pray. This is serious, because the king could not go back on his word. He had already signed the letter in the entire nation that all Jews were to be killed at a certain time. Like, totally annihilate an entire culture of people. It's just evil, I tell you. But the king had said so, he couldn't go back on his word. And so Esther just groomed him, and she teased him, and she romanced him, and she built up the courage to go into the king. Now, right before she went to the king, she said some of the most powerful words in the Bible, and I love it. She said, please pray for me, friends and family, because if I perish, I perish. In other words, if I die, I die. In other words, today might be the last day. This might be the last night, because tomorrow, when I march my beautiful self in the palace, in the king's court, without his invitation, if he does not extend to me his scepter, I'm gone. So y'all please pray. But here is the punchline. This woman was so brave. She had such courage that in spite of her fears, in the face of death, like the definition said, she acted. Now, she could have stayed in there and she could have just pretend, or she could, I guess pretend might not be the right word, but she can just hope that he never found out that she was a Jew. But wisdom said, eventually he might find out. Eventually somebody might tell on me. So in spite of fear, and for her people, for her entire culture, she behaved. She acted in the face of fear. I love that story. And if I'm not telling it really, really good, I want you to go to the Bible and read the book of Esther. It's a really short book. Now that's for us women. There's another story I love. It's actually one of my favorite movies. Happy Feet. Happy Feet 1, Happy Feet 2. I love what? Don't judge me. I love animated movies. And don't forget, I'm an educator, so I love the stories to teach our children. Some things is hard to talk about. So, talk about a boy with courage. Happy Feet. If you have a chance to watch this movie, it's an older movie. Happy Feet was, he had a disability, right? All of the penguins should be able to sing, but he could not. He, like me, could dance. His feet could go. That's why they call it Happy Feet. He's tapping. He was different. He was out of place. He just did not belong. But of course, his father and mother believed in him. That wasn't enough. The whole community despised him. They talked about him. They laughed. They called him crazy. You know, it's just that it's what we do today with people that are different, people that have a different ability. I don't even call it disability, but somebody that has a different ability than us. We call them disabled. They're able. They just have a different ability than you. So Happy Feet in his world of the Antarctica was disabled because he couldn't sing beautifully. And one of his classmates, I love this at the beginning of the movie, go, "Oh, you broke my ear." It is such a beautiful movie. Happy Feet, at the end of the day, he was afraid, but he actually went to look for food. So when his whole entire community was dying, no fish, because the humans were harvesting the fish and doing, what humans do, the animal kingdom. In spite of fear, Happy Feet traveled over the cold desert, and he just encountered all the fearful creatures. He was in prison, in an aquarium, I guess. He was captured, and he did all of this in spite of fear. Was he afraid? Yes. But he conquered that fear. He just mustered up some courage, and he went to look for food. In the end, it saved his entire community. Love, love, love these stories. So think about yourself. I know it sounds like a silly animated cartoon, if you will. Or you might say Esther's a Bible story that happened way long time ago. But you can be an Esther, and you can be Happy Feet. Yes, you can. Okay. Now you might say, oh, this stuff is just fictional characters, and the Bible is not. Let me bring it closer to you. I'm sure you guys have heard about Adolf Hitler. You've heard about what happened to the Jews in Germany. There's a wonderful movie, and high-ranking officer, his name was Schindler, and the book and the movie is called Schindler's List. And he was a Jew, but he had position and clout with Adolf Hitler. That man, in spite of fear, talk about courage. He hid the Jews. He hired them. He sent them to his factory where they can work and live instead of being sent to concentration camps. A wonderful movie of courage. And if he was found out, you know what would have happened to him. So if you have a chance to watch these movies, I would say please go watch the movie. Once again, Happy Feet 1, the book of Esther, chapter Book of Esther chapter 1 through 5, or the entire book, or the movie Schindler's List, because these characters, I tell you, amazing, amazing, amazing example of courage. And you can be like that. You could inhale the courage and exhale the fear. Remember, you were born with two basic fears. Actually, the human race, babies, they said, are born with two basic fears. That's loud noise and the fear of falling. Everything else were taught to us. So when a child enters the world, obviously they hold on to their mama because, or daddy, whoever, doctor, nurse, so they won't fall. Or there's a loud noise, they're startled. They're not afraid of the cats running across them. They're not afraid of the dog licking them or biting them. They're not afraid of the lizards and the spiders that come. There are no boogeyman under the bed. They're not afraid of success. They're not afraid of failure. They're not afraid of fires or drowning or heights or flying or driving. They're not afraid of marriage. They're not afraid of getting an education. They're not afraid to make a lot of money or make no money. They're just not afraid until we teach them how to be afraid. I want you to backtrack and erase as many fears as you can, possibly all your fears, and try to live that fearless life. And if you find that you deal with fear a lot, please remember, it's just a reaction. You're reacting to something. Make the decision to be courageous, to be bold, say, you know what? Be fearless. Say, I can do this. This girl can. I want you to, in spite of your fear, act. Because you're awesome like that. You are. You were like born awesome. There's awesomeness in you. Just bravery in you. There's strength already in you. Were born with these things. You were born strong. You were born courageous. You were born fearless. Other than noise and falling, I'm just saying, you were born with grit and grind. You were born, oh my gosh, just watch children and remember when you were one and the things you did. And then somebody came along, maybe you had an experience, oh my God. Maybe somebody told you something, oh my God. Right now, I feel like we're living in a time of, like, more than in my lifetime, this is the most fearful I've seen my friends and family and the church and the government and the world because of COVID-19. I try not to mention the word COVID-19 or the coronavirus because I'm sick and tired of it. And it's real. It is real. It's not one of those false things appearing real. It is real. However, don't let COVID-19 stop you. I can list literally 10 people who have become multi-billionaires because of COVID-19. And the rest of the world stopped. We don't all need to retreat and hide because of COVID-19. Be careful, be sensible. Again, if that's a fear of yours, think through it. What do I need to do? Listen to the CDC guidelines. Practice social distancing. Just use some of your common sense. Don't be afraid of dying. Don't be afraid of getting it. Use common sense. Wash your hands. Wear your mask when you're around people. So just use common sense and let's just inhale the courage to live again, to go out again, and exhale fear, because you weren't born with all these fears. And we won't allow the world to stop. We won't allow anybody to just stop us. But we will use wisdom. Once again, I thank you. I hope this has helped you. I didn't get to share my story because I'm running out of time. I wanted to share with you a personal story of how I acted. Well, let me try really quickly. I have 45 seconds. So when I moved to America from the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, there was some, I'm moving obviously here to go to school. And I'm leaving everything behind. Just bringing the little bit of money that I had saved at that time to do everything new. Like everything I owned got packed and came with me. That was scary for me. That was scary. I had a friend in Freeport who said, oh yes, we can do this together, let's go. That fell through maybe about a year. Then I waited for them to get their act together. Finally, I said, you know what? Forget y'all. I'm gone. I'm going to the United States of America. And I came. And I did what I had to do. So in spite of, I didn't know if my money would be enough. School was very expensive. Out-of-state fees, international fees, not sure where I'm going to live, not sure where I'm going to work, or if I could work, because the registrar's office had not even confirmed what my visa would allow me to do or not to at the time. Student visa, I'm like, I don't know what I can do, but I need to work. In spite of that, boom, girlfriend got on the plane, came to Tampa, trusting God. You know what? And I didn't talk a lot about trust today, but part of releasing your fear, thinking through your fear, is trusting that you can live on the other side of your fear. Part of acting in spite of fear, or I should say taking actions in spite of fear, is trusting what's on the other side of fear. What's on the other side of that failure? You're not the only one that has failed in relationships or jobs, financially, with your children, with your family. You're just not the only one that's failed. What's on the other side of that? So get through the failure and what's on the other side. And you might fail again. Life might be saying, you're failing, wrong direction. You're failing, wrong direction. You're failing. Whoop, let's go in that direction. And maybe if you go in another direction, you'll find success. But you're afraid to go over there because why? I don't know. I'm afraid. Why are you afraid? I don't even know why I'm afraid. So let's stop. Like we talked about earlier, stop and be still and think through the challenge. Think through the fear. What is my next best move? Not for everybody else. Not for the government, not for the church, not for your family. What is the next best move for you? What is it? And like Olaf, who wants to go in the sunshine, though he's a snowman, do it. Because in the end, somebody found a solution for Olaf to go on his summer vacation. Somebody will help you. God will send somebody there to help. I hope that you've not just enjoyed this, but I hope that you got some value from this. If you're watching this on YouTube and you would like more information like this for my classes, please like the video, share it. I know this is being recorded also for some private platforms and private classes, but I'm okay with you sharing this information. I love helping people take action. I hate fear. I hate how it stops success and stops us from being the best version of ourselves. So I don't mind you sharing it. If you need to ask permission from your organization leaders to do so, please, you can do that because I'm under their contract. If you're watching this on just regular YouTube, please like it, please share it, and subscribe because I will be posting more videos like this as well. Thank you. Remember, do not be afraid. You are fearless. And you're awesome. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you in the next video.